Welcome everybody to our class of 2025 webinar this year. We're excited to have our administrators joining us to share some information to you all, but officially welcome to the class of 2025. We can't wait to actually have you on campus. I'm going to ask Edie Payne, our Director of Campus Ministry, to lead us off in prayer.
Thank you. Hello, good evening, everybody. Just want to let you know at the end of our prayer, you will hear me say St. Joseph, and then everybody together replies, pray for us, God is my light. So it's a little tradition here that we're inviting you to start to pray with us. So let us remember tonight that we are in God's presence. Take a moment, take a breath, deep breath, let go of our crazy day, and just be here. God of our journey, may we travel this unprecedented time with hearts open to the newness you offer us, with eyes open to the beauty around us, with hands open to one another. Gracious God, we carry with us our beloved families and friends, our school community, our dear neighbors all over the world. Bless us with laughter and with learning. Bless us with the ability to travel light. Bless us with the spirit of our founders. May we travel with you, God, this day and all of our days. Amen. Saint Joseph, pray for us. God is my light. That prayer was adapted from a prayer written by one of the Sisters of Saint Joseph. I'm going to turn it over to our president now, Annette Eros.
Hi, my name's Annette Eros, and I am president here at Carondelet High School. And I got to be honest with you, I am re-recording my live session from the other night because I was having technical difficulties and going in and out with my mic. So in order to share my message in its entirety, I'm re-recording it and we'll add it to the session that we did live the other night. So, but I really just wanted to personally welcome everybody to the class of 2025, our Cougars and your parents. And we've got a great 4 years in store for you. And I know we're all coming off just a crazy year. And I think it's a really great time for the class of 2025 to be able to come in a new environment and get a fresh start, make some new friends, meet new people, be embraced by all that is the community at Carondelet. And I can tell you, I know firsthand because I'm an alum from Carondelet, and I enjoyed my time there so much that I am back here now in this capacity. But I am joined by so many wonderful adults on campus that care so much about the kids. And parents, I want you to trust that every single adult on campus is made up of really what it is that we teach, and that's heart, faith, courage, and excellence. And we hope that the 4 years that we have together, you will trust our faculty and staff to take the best possible care of your children, that as they grow into young adults and get ready to move on to college or whatever happens next after their 4 years at Carondelet. And the sisterhood at Carondelet is just incredible. We know that there's going to be so many wonderful experiences, and we really work hard to nurture the charism of the Sisters of St. Joseph. And when you look at things like light and joy and love and caring for your neighbor, this is what we do for each other. And your families are welcomed into this environment and will really thrive in this environment. We know you have a lot of questions. We have a lot of great, smart, enthusiastic, dedicated people here to answer those questions for you tonight. And our hope is that in the fall, we'll be able to do a real welcome on campus, meet you guys face-to-face in person, and be able to share more highlights of what we can look forward to in the coming year. And this is going to be a little bit technical because we know there's a lot of questions that everybody has tonight for everybody, but we want you to feel as comfortable as possible. And you all know by now that Jessica Mix is a wonderful resource for you. So be sure to tap into her whenever you have any questions. But I know that you're going to get a lot of questions asked with this session from a lot of great people that are going to be here to support you. So welcome to everybody to Carondelet and the class of 2025. Thanks.
So now I wanted to welcome Maddy Wilson.
Hi everyone, my name is Maddy Wilson. I'm a current junior. I'm here to give you a student welcome and a little bit of advice. And my biggest piece of advice is to get involved in Crondelet. I'm on ASB and I'm also on varsity dance team, and it's really made my time here at Crondelet. I'm also a peer counselor, and so I have the opportunity to get to meet all of you. Yeah, so now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Cushing.
Thanks, Maddie, and thanks, Annette. Welcome. So that's often what happens in our Zoom classes as well. I actually teach a class this semester. We're used to adjusting on the fly, believe me. Just wanted to provide everyone with kind of a quick update without being able to provide a ton of details yet. As we work with De La Salle on next fall, we opened up in a hybrid format at the end of October. We're very intentional in bringing students back on campus and working closely with County Health. We have been open since, I think it was the third week of October, instituted testing and all of the safety protocols that County Health provided for us. We have had 0 cases of on-campus spread the entire time we've been back. You know, we've had positive cases, but because of the distancing and masking and the guidelines we were following, none of that spread on campus, which is why we've been able to stay open for this long time. And we're very proud of that. Our students have done a remarkable job in following all the guidelines and helping us stay open the way that we have. And we have also learned a whole lot. You know, going into the hybrid is really difficult for teachers, but we've gained a lot of insight and actually created some exciting programs around that we can implement when we do get back to a more normal routine, which is what we're expecting to do in the fall. We just received some guidance or information from California Public Health. The expectation is that we will be back 5 days a week with all of our students on campus. We are working with De La Salle on creating our calendar. We will no longer, we use the flex day time on our basically our 4-day week because we needed that time in the hybrid and for our online students. Moving forward, we will be meeting 5 days a week. We're very excited. We are going to have a new bell schedule. And in that bell schedule, we're going to build in what we're going to call community time, which is time embedded in the day to be with our students for a number of reasons. But one of those main reasons is to be able to kind of catch up. We know we've got incoming freshmen that haven't been in school for a year in a normal way. And the same with our next year's sophomore class. So it's going to provide us the time and opportunity to catch up in terms of our student activities, our campus ministry, our academics. We know there's going to be a ton of academic needs. So we are intentionally planning on creating time and using that time to make sure we all get back on track as we begin next year. We're going to have more details. We are working with De La Salle, and we're actually going to get communication out. The plan right now is next Thursday to give you more details. And as we work through our calendar, we will be sharing that out moving forward. I know one question would be, will students have to be vaccinated next year? As of now, we recommend it, but it's not mandatory, but we need to continue to have that conversation. We have to follow county health guidelines. We'll work with them. I do not have a crystal ball, so I can't give a definitive answer, but as of now, we don't even know if all the vaccines are going to be available. We have to adjust based on the guidance that we receive. So I can't give you a definitive answer on that yet. I'm sure we'll have more questions about the fall. I'll share what I can, but that kind of gives you an overview. And to get more details on some of our programs, I want to turn it over to our Vice Principal for Student Life, Jen Reinwald.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. So glad you could be with us this evening and to hear a little bit more about our programming for next year. I wanted to just share a few points before I introduce some of our Student Life members that'll give you more information that you need to know before the start of the year. And the first thing is just want to just say, so happy to welcome you all, super excited to welcome you on campus. Our community and the expectations of our students for each other and that we have for our students is really to be supportive of each other, inclusive, to really care for our community, each other, and then the community at large. And that's all things that we work on together at Carondelet and are a central part of our mission as women of heart, faith, courage, and excellence as we care for the dear neighbor. Just wanted to kind of let you also in on some questions that you may have. We are planning to have a Frosh family event in August. We usually have a Frosh family barbecue. We are planning on bringing families together in August at the start of the year. Of course, as Mr. Cushing said, we need to follow the health and safety guidelines in place at the time. And so more details will come later this summer. But no worries, we are planning for that event. Part of that event actually is part of our larger plan to help freshmen transition to high school, which is our peer counseling program. So currently we have a set of juniors that are taking a class on peer counseling, and they will be taking on groups of freshmen to help them transition to Carondelet High School. One of the events where usually they meet is that Frosh Family Barbecue, as well as other events like the Alpha Retreat, which Edie Payne will talk about later, and doing some community events during the community times that Kevin referred to in his remarks. So these senior young women will help their freshmen transition to high school, answering questions that they may have, and just talking through what it's like to be a high school student. Along with the help from the peer counselors, really want to echo what Maddy Wilson said, get involved here at Carondelet. We've got lots of clubs. We have a club fair that we'll have in the fall where you can learn about that. There's sports, there's other extracurricular activities out there, lunchtime activities. Just get involved, try a variety of different things. That's the best way to meet new people, as well as make the most of your high school experience. Go back to the peer counseling for a moment and some of those initial events. Again, just like with the Frosh Family Barbecue, more details will come out throughout the summer. But rest assured, we are planning many welcoming events to help freshmen meet each other and become a part of our Carondelet community. So at this time, I'm going to hand it over to Caitlin Main, our Dean of Students.
All right, thanks, Jen. Good evening, everyone. I'm here to hit you with uniforms and student orientation. So very quickly, we do have a school uniform, and it's a way that we honor our Catholic tradition and keep things convenient and equitable for all of our students. And over the years, we've actually combined our traditional Mills uniform with everyday pieces that students and families can purchase through any vendor and through our online store. And all of our updated uniform information is on our website that I'll pop in the chat in just a minute. And it'll also be included in Jessica Mix's next communication out to everyone. But sort of a brief version of the uniform program that we have. We have an everyday uniform, a casual Friday uniform, and then our dress uniform. So the everyday uniform consists of a Carondelet or De La Salle branded top. So any shirt, long sleeve sweatshirt, outerwear, as long as it says Carondelet or De La Salle and is purchased through the Mills Uniform Company, the Carondelet online store, or through a school sponsored activity like a sports team or a club. As far as bottoms go, students can wear any blue, black, or khaki pant, capri length or longer with no rips or holes. And these pants can be purchased through any vendor, Old Navy, Nordstrom, Gap, wherever you like to shop, you can purchase those pants. And then we also have some uniform skirt options through Mills, plaid, a navy, and a gray skirt through Mills. On Fridays or other casual days, students can wear the everyday uniform plus the option of black or navy, black or blue leggings or athletics pants, which will be new next year. And I think students will be excited about it. And then about once a month on liturgy days, masses, special assemblies, etc., we have a dress uniform that consists of any uniform bottom and then a white polo and a navy blue sweater or navy blue sweatshirt purchased through the online store. Again, all of the details are on the website. I'll pop it in the chat. And if you have any questions, you can ask in the chat or feel free to reach out to me via email. I also want to mention, mark your calendars. Monday, August 9th will be our freshman orientation. It's going to be a half-day event, likely 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Could move back or forth about 30 minutes, but plan for a half-day event on Monday. We go over practical things like lockers. We provide the locks, school pictures, ID cards, a campus tour. But we also want to be really intentional about this time. It's been a wild year, and we really want to recognize that our kids really need community and connection. So we want to build in plenty of time, especially for our incoming ninth graders, to get to know each other, get to know the freshman teachers, and really build community on that day. So again, Monday, August 9th, from about 9 to 1, we will serve lunch. This is a really important day, so we really want everyone to make it a priority. And then that Wednesday, August 11th, will be the first official day of school with a 0 through 7 day. That's it from me. Now I'm going to send it over to our Director of Student Activities, Miss Maggie Lettire.
Thank you, Caitlin. So hello, everyone. I'm Maggie Lettire, a proud alum of the class of 2013. Now I feel like I can say that year and people won't be like, oh my God, she's so young. I'm kind of in that nice sweet spot. So I'm happy with it right now. I also have some gray hairs, so it kind of makes me look more serious as well. So I'm really excited to talk to you all today about freshman leadership. So leadership is something that's really, student council is super important and exciting to be part of at Crondelet. We actually have, of our 800 students, over 130 students are part of a formal leadership position, and that's not even including club leaders. So really, we have lots of opportunities for people to grow in leadership. So for freshmen, we actually have 4 different councils that they can join coming into their freshman year, and those applications will happen in June. That's when we'll be doing the interviews. So more information will be coming out probably in May, finding out about the application, when's it due, and then when students will interview. One of the cool things that Crondelet has done for quite a bit of time now is freshman year, every position is appointed. So there is no election. We really want to make sure that students that maybe aren't the best public speaker yet or have never done leadership before still have the same opportunity to be part of student leadership. So we have an associated student body council, which is comprised of students of all grades. We have a freshman leadership council, which is all freshmen. We have a diversity, equity, and inclusion council that we're kicking off this upcoming year. And then we have a green team sustainability council. So there's 4 different ways to get involved just right off the bat so that you can kind of show up to school and already have an involvement. But we also do have, as Mrs. Reinwald mentioned, we have over 40 to 45 clubs any given year. And I'm going to put a link in the chat. This year, what we did, we actually had a virtual club fair. So I'm going to put the link in the chat so you can actually see what everyone saw this year, which was all of the different clubs got to make a little page and kind of share about themselves. And people could sign up to be part of the club from that website. So I will be sharing that in the chat. Club fair happens about 4 weeks into the school year. We don't want to scare you too much, right when you start off the bat, but we do want to make sure that you know that there are plenty of opportunities to get involved. So, you can start off with an opportunity before you even step foot in the door, try out for a sport the week that you get here, or you can wait a few weeks and get involved at club fair. So we really try to make sure that there's an opportunity for everyone. There's a lot of really exciting things to look forward to when it comes to activities. We have a huge welcome week, and we will, make sure that we're taking into consideration all the COVID restrictions, but our welcome rally, the freshman dance, things that we do, we really hope that we can be able to do those in some way, shape, or form, but we really try to not only bond you with your freshman class at Carondelet, but also get to help you get to know the people across the street at De La Salle as well. So if you have any questions about student leadership, or clubs or any sort of activities, please make sure you ask in the Q&A. I will be posting the link to the club website so you can kind of take a look at the kind of clubs that we have, and just know in the back of your head, you can always start your own club. I don't try to turn away any ideas. We've had a donut aficionados club where people got a donut of the month. We've had a bocce club. We've had lots of different clubs. So we really try to, not reject any creativity here. But I will now be passing it off to Edie Payne, our Director of Campus Ministry that you heard from earlier, to talk about some of our campus ministry opportunities.
Hello, thank you, Maggie. So as Ms. Lettire said, my name's Edie Payne. I work in campus ministry. And the most important thing that I would like to share with you this evening is just a message of welcome. We're really proud of our Catholic heritage, and we are a place where families and students of all faiths are welcome. And some of the ways that we try to make everyone feel welcome here is freshmen in particular, in your religion classes, during the first month of school, you'll go over with your religion teachers what a liturgy or a mass looks like, and they'll help you learn how to say some of the prayers, or when to stand or when to sit. So and we'll walk everybody through that first school-wide liturgical experience. So we want to kind of ease people in. And then also throughout the year, when we gather as a whole school for worship or for prayer, we have a variety of different ways that we pray together. So our student leaders who help with campus ministry, it's called Spiritual Life Council. They are the ones really who are planning these prayer experiences. And we have a variety of different ways that we pray. Anything from student-led prayer services to traditional Eucharistic celebrations, like a full mass. And also, interestingly, and I think this brings such a richness to Spiritual Life Council, we have students on Spiritual Life Council who are non-Catholic. So I think that's really important because we want to make sure all the students are represented on that leadership council, and we want to make sure that we have all perspectives. So it really brings a lovely richness to our program of leaders. And so like I said at the beginning, we are, of course, really proud of our Catholic tradition, and the core values of our Catholic tradition that we want to pass on to all students who come here are compassion, justice, and inclusion. That is what it comes down to be a Christian, to follow Jesus. And so those are universal values that we feel are important for any of our students who come here, Catholic or not. And then our legacy of the CSJ tradition. So the CSJ tradition means the Sisters of St. Joseph. So they're the group of women religious who founded our school. And what's really important about the CSJ tradition that we try to live every day and impart into our students' lives is that we are seeking a love that unifies. We are looking to build and to be a love that unifies. Some of the ways that we do this for students, first year, ninth graders, we have a retreat called Alpha. It's sort of become this wonderful foundational experience for our students. It's their first little taste of Carondelet retreat, but it's a really great introduction to some of the basics of the CSJ tradition. And it's a place to start building community, to feel safe, to have a little group of people you know, to run around campus, to have fun, and then hopefully, if COVID protocols allow, it will be an overnight event. It's really become a super fun rite of passage for all of our ninth graders. It's not mandatory, but usually we only have about 10 to 20 ninth graders who opt out of it. So it's pretty well attended. It's a huge event, a lot of fun. Some of the mailings that you receive from Mrs. Mix later on in the summer will have dates so that you can mark those on your calendar. You want to make sure that you reserve that. It's usually on a Friday night, goes until mid-morning on Saturday. Other thing I would highlight real quick too is a real important part of our Catholic and CSJ tradition is this idea of serving our dear neighbor. And so reaching out and sharing and serving others is super important for our student body. And we have lots of opportunities for community service. We have a person on staff who can help you find opportunities in the community. And then we also have immersion trips. And those are extended experiences where students go in a group and travel somewhere and kind of immerse themselves in a situation that's different from their own, so that they can see and walk in other people's footsteps and learn about the justice issues that surround that location that they're going to and how they can advocate for change. And there's one trip that is open to freshmen and sophomores only, and that is our immersion trip in the spring. And it focuses on issues of justice surrounding farm workers when we travel to Salinas. So if we're allowed to do all the traveling that we would like to do next year, that would be something great for the 9th and 10th grade students to look forward to applying for a position in that, a spot on that immersion trip. And then I'm just really looking forward to meeting everybody in the fall and praying with you and growing closer to you and growing our spirituality and our sisterhood. I think now I'm going to turn it over to Kat Arroyo for athletics.
Thanks, Edie. Hi, I'm Kat Arroyo. I'm the interim athletic director here at Carondelet. Super excited to welcome you guys all here. Like Maddie said, this community is amazing, and getting involved is definitely something you want to start right away, whether it's athletically or in one of our clubs or ASB. But starting right off the bat, we have seasons of sport. So fall seasons of sport, you have water polo. If you see on the slide, water polo, volleyball, cross country, tennis, golf, sideline cheer, and dance, as well as rugby will also be offered in the fall. And their tryouts are in that first week of school. They would start on the 9th of August. And so right away, even before school starts. And then sideline cheer and dance actually have tryouts. If you notice, their tryout is actually in June this year because they get started right away, and they practice a little bit through the summer as well. Winter sports will come about around the first week of November, their tryouts. A lot of questions that we'll get is, what if I want to do a fall sport and a winter sport? How we approach that is you're more than welcome to do that. We are really excited for multiple sport athletes. You'll finish your first sport in the fall, and then you will be opted a 3-day tryout with a winter sport of your choice. And they will leave leave spots open for dual sport athletes or tri-sport athletes. So winter, we have basketball and soccer, and they start around the 1st of November. And then spring, we have lacrosse, swimming, diving, softball, track and field, and competitive stunt cheer. And their tryouts will be around the 2nd week of February. And same thing, if you're a winter sport athlete, a lot of times our winter sports will go into March, depending on which team you're in, and will coincide with some spring sports. Not to worry, you'll get your chance to try out if you would like to try out for one of those spring sports. Lastly, we usually have, when we have this meeting in person, usually we do an athletic piece to it. But we're going to be moving that. We're working towards doing it on June 1st. We haven't quite finalized the details, whether we're going to be able to do it in person or on Zoom, but just hold that date just in case. And then cheer and dance, we're going to have a Zoom meeting with anyone interested in trying out for cheer and dance on 5/12. That information will be in the letters that Jess Mix sends out to you guys in the next couple of days or weeks. And one last thing that I want to talk to you guys about, this summer, we have significant opportunities for incoming 9th graders to participate in a plethora of different sports camps. We have sports clinics. I know we have volleyball, soccer, softball. We have a lacrosse camp. We have some strength and conditioning camps. I know I'm missing one. We have cheer and dance camps as well. I think I got them all. if I missed any, Jess will help me out and remind me. But I'm would not stress enough that if you're interested in participating, especially in a fall sport that's offered like volleyball, they have a great program and they do these clinics and a lot of incoming ninth graders participate. So that's all from me. I'm really looking forward to meeting you all in the next school year in August. And now I'm going to pass it on to Jill Okimoto, who is our Director of Strategic Marketing and Communications. Jill?
Welcome, new families. Can everybody hear me? Great, thank you. So at Carondelet, we're going to tend to over communicate to you because we want you to stay informed and we want you to be prepared for everything. Our marketing communications team includes me, Brian Navarre, our Director of Digital Media, and Caroline Cabral, who's our Marketing Communications Coordinator. And when you come on campus, they'll be taking photos, video. We're going to be doing stories on you. So parents, as of last Sunday at 11, you should have received our e-news. We send that out weekly and students will start receiving it when they start school. Check your promotions and your spam filters just to make sure it didn't go in there. And I'll put in the chat later my email so that you can put that in your contact, because it'll come from mine. It'll say Carondelet High School, but it'll come from me to make sure that you receive it in your main inbox. We'll be sending that through the end of the year, and then we'll pick up again in August. So over the summer, we will be sending you some critical communications. We'll be sending you a fall update from Principal Cushing and anything else that's important, like what Maggie said about different leadership opportunities, etc. So for the school, our website is a great place to get information, and your most important page is going to be your incoming freshman page. Definitely check that regularly, and you can just search in the search button to find that if you don't know where that is. The other thing is we regularly post to social. We post to Facebook, we post to Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and we have a YouTube channel. So make sure that you connect on all of those. The clubs all have them too, mostly Instagram. Definitely connect there so that you can follow us, and there's lots of information that you're going to receive that way, and just get a flavor for what life at Carondelet is. Miss Mix will definitely be your first point of contact for any questions. Most of all, we're excited to have you on board, and we're looking forward to seeing you in the fall. So now I'm going to pass the baton to our VP of Academics and Ed Tech, Dr. Elizabeth Chaponot. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This is an exciting time. I think we're going to round out our presentation today with things related to academics. Jess, if you're going to Vanna White the next slide. I think we are just starting a brand new journey. And I think if I have one message for you is that this is a journey. It's a marathon. It is not a sprint. And our goal here is to make sure that, excuse me, the choices that we make with you and with your daughter for her are about achieving success and making sure that she feels safe, supported, and successful. So all of our programming is geared to that. And we're going to switch slides again. And we're going to start with give you a vague look at what a freshman year looks like. Our girls are busy ladies. They all carry 70 units. Now that there is not one size fits all for every single student. We try to, in fact, make sure that there are many options and many opportunities so that a student can fit a path that fits their needs. So everybody's got to take English, but whether or not they choose honors is a matter of choice, a matter of interest, and all of that is found out in the fall. No decision needs to be made about that right away. Similarly, math, the idea is that the journey is tailored to suit the needs exactly of the student, and the placement test helps us set students up on that. Again, honors is embedded within the program, so students don't have to are not decided. That fate is not decided for them at this moment. Big history as well is our history curriculum. It connects to English, and like English, not in exactly the same way, it also has an honors embedded component. Otherwise, core and central, that's why they're at the middle. We have Frosh Wellness and Frosh Creation that are our faith and health component, as well as our computer and art components. Your daughter will also choose a modern language. She may enter into the world of science with conceptual physics, or another option is to take a study skills and language development class, which is we call HFCE. We think it's extraordinarily clever. It stands for Heart, Faith, Courage, and Excellence. It is a first year entry, and we know that it is going to be an important first step for a lot of our freshmen this year, just based on an understanding that COVID may be a year where we want to make sure that there was no negative impact after a year-long pandemic. Frosh, I'm sorry, that's code for freshmen. We tend to speak, educators tend to speak in ed speak, and Frosh is one of those things. So I guess that moves us into the next slide, which is connected to our, Jess, drum roll. Placement testing. You're going to be coming in very shortly to have your daughter place a test. This is not something you cram for. This is not something you freak out about. Again, the whole principle, we're back to that foundational, that it is a journey, it is not a sprint, and we want to make sure that we find that sweet spot where your daughter is challenged but not overwhelmed. So what we're doing this year is we are running our math placement test, which has been tweaked and in fact improved to be even more specific and granular. We are going to be using NWEA's MAP testing, which for our language arts, which will focus on language arts and reading specifically. I think reading is extraordinarily important, and we want to make sure that all our girls are very well equipped to read to learn. And finally, on request, students and families that feel that their daughters have reached a level of fluency for their model language can request a placement test for those subjects as well. Once we get the placement tests, these are not mysterious results. We will share them with you, and we will send them to you along with a proposed course hit list of what we think would be a best fit for your daughter for next year. And at that time, you will, as a parent, have the option of requesting a one-to-one meeting to talk over what any of these choices mean, if something is not clear, if you have a completely unrelated question to academics but wanted to talk about with our college counselor or our athletics, we will try to make sure that you have an opportunity to come on campus or Zoom and meet with one of our educators to make sure that what we set up feels right and is completely clear for both you and your daughter. I know that there's a lot of question about math. So before I hand it off, I'm just going to do a shout out for our extensive summer programming. We have two major opportunities for students. We have obviously our math program. It is a wonderful way to get comfortable with the math program, which is a little bit different, and Mrs. Schooler will be talking about that very shortly. We also ran a pilot last year when students found their way of being sheltered in place. We know that we had a lot of anxiety, families coming in saying, oh my God, my kid has missed 3 years of a really important year. Are they going to be ready? So we ran a pilot where we created a completely virtual, completely voluntary platform and built in some of the steps for that. We ran the data on that, and that program actually led to improved results for students at all levels if they actually participated in the program. So we are going to be working that in as well again, and that will be an opportunity as part of our summer programming. And that program focuses sometimes on pre-algebra skill, that is one unit, but most specifically on English language arts and on reading comprehension. We do a book club type system where they get to read their summer reading and get a head start on on their English. So having done that, I've just stolen one of the math program's favorite terms. So I'm gonna pass the baton to our current department chair of math and future dean of faculty, Lesley Schooler.
Good evening. Thank you, Elizabeth. So I want to start off by talking about our Algebra Challenge exam. This will take place on Saturday, May 1st. This exam covers the entire Algebra 1 curriculum. We've listed the topics that are included here on the side here. The most important thing, though, to keep in mind is that this is just a placement test that really helps us know where in the curriculum and what parts of the algebra curriculum your daughter has already mastered. We use this information from this test to really help us determine the best class for her in order to set her up for success at Carondelet. This test is mastery based by topic, which means that it's not a pass or fail type of test. Some students will demonstrate mastery on all 11 topics that are listed here, and then they will be placed in geometry. Other students might not show mastery in any topic, so they'll just be placed at the beginning of the curriculum. Many students will test out of some of these topics. And so that what that really means is that when they begin math at Carondelet, they will have a personalized scope and sequence that includes only those topics that they didn't show mastery on. So students are given 90 minutes to take this test, and they will not be using calculators on it. All the problems are able to be solved without a calculator. So what happens after the placement test? So once the Algebra Challenge exam is graded, you will receive an email from me with your daughter's results. It will be broken down by topics to let you know which ones, if any, she has demonstrated mastery on. The email will also include her course placement for next year, whether that's going to be Algebra 1, Algebra Readiness, or Geometry. We do not have a separate honors section of these courses. So the honors curriculum is embedded into algebra and geometry, and students have the option to self-select those honors extensions, and they can do it at any time that they're working within that curriculum. So how honors is embedded in will be explained in a lot more detail in August when they're in class. We will also email out detailed information about our summer math program offerings and the link to register for those optional courses. Not all offerings apply to everyone, so please read your email carefully to learn which courses are available to your daughter. So registration for summer school will open up in mid-May, and once again, in that email I will send to you with the placement decisions. It'll all be detailed out there for you. If your daughter is currently enrolled in geometry right now, please send me an email. I've got my email listed up there. So you can reserve a time for our geometry placement test. This will take place on May 20th. So she will need to take the algebra placement test as well as the geometry placement test if she's currently enrolled in geometry right now. And lastly, a question that we always get is, what calculator do we require? So we require, for all Carondelet math courses, the HP Prime graphing calculator, and she will use this calculator all 4 years while she's at Carondelet. Thank you so much.
That is actually a wonderful segue for, because yes, we use the HP Prime. We also are an iPad school, and our Director of Academic and Learning Technology, Joan Tracy, is going to explain the opportunity of getting on site and getting involved in tech training. That is a huge part of their freshman year, and it really sets them up for success to understand the tools and know how to use them ahead of time. So Joan, how about you tell us a little bit about that?
All right, I'm Joan Tracy. I'm right now in our library, and I've spent the day organizing iPads, so I'm happy to be talking about it. Part of my responsibility for your daughter is to ensure she receives an iPad, that she knows how to work, how to use it, and how to use it well for our school. I also have a responsibility to make sure your daughters know how to navigate our various tech learning systems. So I start doing this on Saturday, May 1st. Your daughter will receive her iPad when she comes for that training. Make sure she brings a case. iPads break, and so it's just always better to immediately get it into the case. On that day, she's going to get her access her login. She'll get her logins to our various systems, and we'll do a very, very limited experience with Schoology and Google. Then on that day, she will be taking the placement test that Miss Chaponot and Miss Schooler just talked about. So I still have that responsibility to have her know how to navigate our tech learning systems. The way I'm going to do this and still have all the COVID rules followed is I'm offering a number of online summer sessions, which your daughter needs to attend just one. And the form, there's a form on the website that you can go to and choose which summer session she'll go to. It's a Zoom session, so she'll be at home, I'll be at home, but we'll make sure that she hits the ground running in August, that she can navigate all the systems, and that she's retrieved all of the ebooks that she's going to need through the year. Thanks. I'll answer questions if you have them at the end. And I'm going to turn this back over to Jessica.
Thanks, Joan, and thanks everybody for your detailed presentations. I know we have a lot of information that we are trying to give everybody at once, so we thank you for your patience. Right now, we're going to shift over to the question answer portion of the webinar, so please make sure to use that little Q&A box that you see at the bottom of your webinar if you have any questions. Also just wanted to mention that I will remain your point of contact all the way through the start of school. So if you have a question about uniform, if you have a question about sports, if you have a question about calculator, please don't hesitate to shoot me an email and I will play operator to these fabulous people here and we will get you a question answered. But right now it's just so hard to remember who does what. So please just start with me until we can learn the process a little bit more. And then we'll kind of move that way in August. I'm going to start with some questions here just to kind of remind you, because I see that we have a lot of sports questions. So just to remind you, we are going to have 2 dedicated sports meetings. Our first sports meeting for cheer and dance will be May 12th. And it will be a webinar. And so if you're interested in trying out for cheer and dance, you can get all of the details at that webinar and we'll answer all of your questions. Our coaches will be there, which is who you really want to talk to. And so they will get your questions answered. And then also we will have another sports meeting for the rest of our sports teams on June 1st. And again, our coaches will be present. You can ask them very sports specific questions. They'll talk to you about tryouts, how many kids typically make the team, what are the skills that I need. So we're going to keep the athletics questions higher level tonight. And we'll wait until June 1st and then the May 12th to kind of dive into details. And then last thing I'm going to say before I jump into questions, you are going to get a very lengthy email from me by Monday that recaps this whole meeting. And within that email, you're going to have links to everything that you're going to need. You're going to have websites to visit with the information. So please don't worry if you did not capture everything. I will capture it for you and send it out to you on Monday. And then you will receive emails from me about every 2 weeks with reminders. Here's what you need. Here are the links. Here's the deadline to sign up. So don't worry, you are not going to miss a thing. Okay, so moving on to our question and answers. Okay, so Ms. Arroyo, will you answer quickly? I know we had some families ask if you can play 2 sports in a season, which we know you cannot play 2 sports in one season. But will you explain, can you try out for 2 sports in the same season? So for example, let's say you try out for volleyball and you don't make the team. So you're interested in trying out for another sport in the fall. How do you do that?
Firstly, you'll have to discuss both of those options with the coaches involved. Some coaches are, because of the numbers that they see during tryouts, will not offer a secondary tryout to athletes if they've been cut from another sport. Other sports have less numbers and are more than happy to have as many girls involved as they possibly can. So traditionally we've had girls that have tried out for volleyball, which is very highly sought after, and there's a certain number that they have to keep or else people just don't play. So traditionally a lot of girls from volleyball will either look to go to cross country or they will look to go to water polo after they have tried out for volleyball. And both of those coaches, they're more than willing to open the doors to those athletes. Now, soccer and basketball, very different story. Those are super and highly competitive, and a lot of girls get cut from those teams. Not to say that your child will be in that situation, but there are a lot of people that are trying out, and there's only so many spots on each team. And for soccer and basketball, it's just not really done where we have one going from soccer and trying out for basketball or vice versa. In the spring, similar to the fall, there are some sports that can open their doors if you don't make a team of your first choice. But like I said, you want to contact both coaches and make sure that you've talked to both of them about it. Miss Mix, do you want me to go on to that next one about volleyball camp?
That would be great. Thank you.
So the question is there a volleyball camp? If so, is it indoor or outdoor? And I'm going to answer this the same for basketball as well, because currently we're planning on holding them indoors, but obviously things are changing day to day, and we don't know how it's going to go. If we all had that crystal ball Mr. Cushing was talking about, we would definitely say indoor, but we don't know right now. So we're going to plan for indoor and hope that it gets to be indoor, but we do have backup plans already in place in case we can't accommodate indoors, because our ultimate goal is to make sure that all of our campers and our students are safe. And that's all I got for that.
Thank you. Our next question has to do with the placement exam. If your child has accommodations, are these allowed during the placement test? And the answer is yes. So when you get information sent out to you about tech training, if you have already submitted your documentation and you have qualified for extended time, we went through this with most of you when we tried to do the HSPT. So if your student has already qualified for those accommodations, you will receive separate instructions with when your tech training will happen. It will happen the same day, but everybody who is having extended time will be in the morning session. And so you will get an earlier email with specific instructions so that you can have extended time on both the math and the placement exam. Someone asked, is it possible for me to send out a spreadsheet with all of the question and answers? Absolutely. I can attach that to the email that I send you on Monday. Can freshmen be on varsity, specifically dance team, Ms. Arroyo? Or I can answer the dance team question. Yes, they can be. Yeah, they can be. Freshmen can make varsity teams at Carondelet. Yes, we have freshmen on varsity dance currently. And then which placement tests are mandatory versus optional? Do you want to answer that one, Dr. Chaponot, or do you want me to take that?
I can take that. Okay. Placement tests that are mandatory are math and English. Modern language is optional.
Thank you. A question about what kind of case. So if you go to your Incoming Freshman Welcome page, there's a web page for you for iPad information. We have links built into that page that talk about the iPad and the type of case that you will need. I will also resend all of those links and that iPad information in Monday's email. And Ms. Tracy, do you want to address what type of iPad it is, just quickly for the group?
Sure, it's the newest model. It's called iPad 8, although you're not going to see that on the Apple store, but it is an iPad 8.
It also has extra memory.
Oh, yes. Yeah, great. Yes. Thank you, Miss Dr. Chaponot, because that's so helpful, guys. Your daughter's going to be so happy with the extra memory.
Next question. If I bought a case on the online store, will it be given to me the day I receive my iPad? The answer is yes. If you purchased any online store items that you're still waiting to be shipped, including tech, gear, any of that stuff, we will have our convent open on the day of tech training. So you can come on over before your tech training, pick up your bag, and it'll be available to you. How many girls will be in the freshman class? Right now we have a large freshman class and we're sitting at 222. So we are very, very excited. It's a pretty sweet number. So let's, fingers crossed that's where we stay when we start in August, but we're really excited for our freshman class. Aside from the calculator and iPad, how about the rest of school supplies? Does it need to be specific or is there any list that gets sent out? This is a very common question, so thank you for asking that. Unlike middle school or your K-5, you're not going to get a supplies list. Every teacher for every class is going to have something different, so you might need a particular type of binder for one class, or you may need I'm making this up, a highlighter color for a particular class. So that first week of school, when you're starting to meet all of your teachers in your course outline, they will give you specific needs that you have for the class. So you'll have a little bit of time to gather those supplies. You do not need to show up on the first day of school with your big box and tub of supplies. We give you time to get acclimated and make sure you know your teachers and get everything that you need. What are the COVID precautions for the May 1st event on campus? I'm so glad you asked, because I just typed a very detailed email that you all are going to get that spells out these COVID protocols. One, when you show up, you are going to fill out what we call a pre-screening form, which asks some questions that we currently ask our students when they come to campus. Have you had a fever? Have you been exposed to anybody? And so students will check off yes or no and answer those questions. If they answer all of those questions no, they will be allowed to enter campus. Masks will be worn at all times. Students will be separated into smaller groups, I think less than 15 in each classroom space, with 6 feet of separation. So we will be, monitoring and making sure all students are social distancing. Masks will be worn. Desks will be cleaned before each group. No sharing of materials. All students will have their own supplies. And then we have also segmented bathrooms for each group. So I think, and we'll have 3 different check-in areas, but I'll spell that out with more specifics on your tech training email that you're going to be receiving next week. Will there be a basketball training camp, or would that be the strength and conditioning camp? We do have a basketball clinic, correct, Ms. Arroyo? Yeah.
Yes, we have 2. I think we have 2, and we also have strength and conditioning. Just to clarify, strength and conditioning is its own element. We have an amazing strength and conditioning coach here, and she would run them through items in the weight room as well as stuff out on the field to get them moving and cardio wise as well. So it's kind of all inclusive, the strength and conditioning, but it's not sports specific.
Thank you for that. Uniform question. For uniform, are hair pieces like barrettes or jewelry allowed? And for hair, can it be bleached or dyed?
Barrettes, jewelry, hair ribbons are all allowed. The only thing we don't allow are hats inside the academic building. And then in terms of hair, students are allowed to bleach or dye their hair as long as it's a natural, not necessarily natural to them, but one of the natural colors. We really just, you're not allowed to wear or dye your hair a blue or green or purple. So natural colors only.
Thank you. Next question is, any possibilities of carpool share? Yes. So if you opted in there, when you filled out your enrollment contract for Carondelet, which seems like years ago, but it was really just March 26th. If you checked the box saying that you would like to be part of the carpool, we are currently asking our current students the same question. So our current student re-enrollment forms are due on May 7th. So as soon as I've collected all of that information from our current students, I compile one large list for everybody who has opted in to a carpool ride share. And I send out that collective list to everybody only who's opted in. And I share your addresses so you can see people that live near you, and that way, and contact information so you can reach out and create carpools with people in your area. Okay. Dr. Chaponot, we have some questions about what the English placement test looks like. Would you be able to answer that?
It is just loads of fun. It is actually just a standardized test that we use, the MAP test. What it is, though, is it's not a timed test, so there's no pressure for students to finish quickly. The whole point is that the test is adaptive. As the students take the test, the questions will adapt based on the responses that are given, so that it gives us an accurate picture of where students are at. So there's a language arts test, which is much shorter, and there is a reading component, and obviously students read at different rates, so that one can take a little bit longer, but they won't be queued out or anything.
Thank you for that. We do have a question of when is the English placement test. So I know that's confusing. The English placement test is the MAP test. So that will be given on May 1st. So MAP and math, which sounds the same, will both be given May 1st with the tech training. So there's not another day that you're coming in for the English. The only other day you may be coming in is if you've opted already to take the modern language placement exam. Let's see. So I'm not going to answer the questions about how many girls on each team. We're going to save that for the June meeting, so hold tight. Dr. Chaponot, how many credits, oh, you're answering this question, but how many credits are required for each semester or quarter?
So students take 70 units their freshman and sophomore years. Thereafter, some students go to 60, others don't. Others maintain the 70 units and get some electives in.
Awesome.
True for seniors too.
Thank you for that.
70 credits, if that's not clear, if that's ed speak, that means they have 7 different classes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, another uniform question. For casual Friday dress, do the girls also have to wear a skirt over their leggings, or can they just wear the leggings?
The students can just wear the leggings. They don't need to wear the skirt over the leggings for our casual free dress. I also saw a few other uniform questions. We do occasionally have free dress days or spirit days where students don't have to wear the uniform at all. It happens occasionally, and a lot of times our ASB and student councils sort of determine when those days are. I also saw a question about lockers that I can take on. We issue lockers to all of our freshmen and sophomores, and we also provide the lock for all students. We typically assign them in alphabetical order or close to alphabetical order, all in the same hallway. So the freshmen have their hallway, and that's often kind of like the go-to spot to meet at break or lunch, or meet up with your friends before you go out to lunch. And students really take ownership of that hallway.
Thank you for that. And then dress code for May 1st. Just casual attire, jeans, t-shirt, whatever they're comfortable in. No dress code specific for May 1st. Let's see. What days are the everyday outfits, and what day are the casual uniforms worn, and what uniform should they wear on the first day?
I was looking at the Q&A, so I didn't hear the first part of your question, Jess, but on the first day and orientation, we'll do the regular everyday uniform. So black, blue, khaki pants. This could be jeans. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but denim jeans that are, navy or blue or black are perfectly allowed. So orientation, first day of school, is just the everyday uniform bottoms, and something that says Carondelet or De La Salle on top.
And we'll give very specific information as we go over the summer on Monday, where this, Monday through Thursday is typically what we call our traditional uniform, and Friday is what we call the casual uniform, which is what Mrs. Main has explained with the t-shirt or Carondelet or De La Salle top. That doesn't need to be a uniform top. Okay, let's see. Another uniform question for you, Miss Main. Are other skirts allowed? So instead of plaid, could they wear a black or gray tennis skirt?
At this time, only the Mills uniform skirts are allowed, and you'll see what's offered if you click the Mills uniform online store. There's a plaid pleated skirt, a plaid gray skirt, and a navy A-line skirt available.
Thank you for that. Public schools have the option to take World Geo and Health over the summer before 9th grade to lighten their freshman load. Are those required classes at Carondelet, and would they receive credit? Dr. Chaponot, that one's for you.
Those are required classes at Carondelet. They would not receive credit for them. Both health, we approach health in a very different way. It is embedded in our Frosh wellness, mind, body, spirit. Our philosophy is that these are two integral parts of your existence, and that one of the things we want them to be able to do as freshmen is that course is supposed to lighten their load. It is supposed to give them a time to process with their peers and with adults how their faith and how their choices related to health are connected and an integral part of their student identity and success. So we would not give credit for that class. We would also not accept the world geography or world history class because that is our big history and it is connected to the English curriculum, and those two courses work together so that students can make links in the learning and not go away feeling that life is completely siloed and an English essay and a history essay and all of these things are very different when they're in fact not. So no, we wouldn't recommend that. Lightening the load, the best way to lighten the load that would empower your daughter is to just opt in for HFC, whether the placement tests suggest that that's a great idea or not, because that is a space for them to have more time in their day as well and get some work done, as well as learn some great strategies on how to work smart as opposed to always just working hard.
Thank you. Mr. Cushing, this one's for you, our bell schedule ninja who loves bell schedules. Do bell schedules change throughout the semester for athletes, or is it kept consistent?
Well, consistent is a term I wouldn't use for any bell schedule at the high school level because we have to accommodate for masses and again, our community time. So the basic school day begins at 8:15. We get out early enough so that for the most part, our release doesn't impact getting to games and practices on time, though sometimes there are tournaments and things like that. So we do not adapt our schedule for sporting events specifically. And again, we're working on finalizing our new bell schedule at De La Salle. As we work on that and finalize it, we of course will share that out. It'll take a few more weeks.
Thank you. For kind of shoes, any shoes with a back, correct, Mrs. Main? So we don't care about color, or we let them get, you know, socks and shoes are really how they express themselves around here. It gets wild. Some cats sometimes appear on socks, neon colors, you know.
Yeah, any shoe with the back strap. I would say most of our students wear sneakers like Vans, Converse, etc. But any shoe with the back strap.
Thank you for that. And then college counseling question, Dr. Chaponot. Will college prep, which I'm assuming means college counseling, start during the first week? And how would we meet with our college counselors?
I don't know that we would want to start the first week putting that much pressure on our students. Typically, the college counselors meet with every student individually in the fall, in the spring, I'm sorry, in early January when they do course selection. They do have opportunities to meet with counselors before then, but that is generally when you start thinking about what are my choices going to be as a sophomore. Your schedule is pretty set as a freshman. There's not all that much to discuss. I think it is the year of exploration. They have opportunities to test honors. They have opportunities to try all sorts of things. I think that's our focus for the first start. But the college counselors are very present, very available, have all sorts of presentations that you as a parent could come to and come to meet with them as well.
Thank you. Questions about PE class. Will they have a PE class in their freshman year? And for us, that's the Frosh Wellness class, which incorporates the health. So they get 5 units of PE or kinesiology credit for that. And then in their sophomore year, they have what we call their activities class, which is a year-long, correct, Dr. Chaponot, activities class in their sophomore year. There was questions on if they needed a different outfit for that. And yes, we do, or you can order your PE uniform online through our school store when the time comes, but that is sophomore year. And then again, Mr. Cushing, normal time for the end of school day.
Normal. Oftentimes we have early release dates, which is around 1:20. Not often. It could be 1:20. Typically, it's between 2:30 and 2:50. Although our all meeting days may be 3 o'clock. As I said, we need to work out the logistics of it. We are planning on having all meeting is when you have all 7 classes for 45 minutes. And when we have a 5-day week, that will likely be our Monday meeting day. And then we have block periods around that. So Tuesday would be 1, 2, 3, 7 periods, 7th period. And then Wednesday would be 4, 5, 6. And then Thursday, 1, 2, 3, 7, Friday, 4, 5, 6. As I said, once we get the schedule finalized, we'll send it out and it will be self-explanatory.
Thank you. So it looks like we've gotten through all of our questions, but I want to commend you. We had 126 answered questions. I think this class of 2025 takes the cake on paying attention and asking questions. So excellent job. And just as I said that, I have 3 more questions coming in. So we'll answer these last 3 and then we'll end the webinar. And you can always email me. And like I said, I will get you to the correct person. Question about Mandarin. If you have a student who has been in Mandarin and they are starting at a level 1 Spanish, are they considered behind? If they catch on quickly, can they move into Spanish 2, i.e. like how our math classes are individually paced?
Language is not set up for that. They're not behind. They're with most of the students who are starting their level 1. In fact, we kind of recommend that unless the placement task clearly indicates that a student should be in a level 2, that if there is even an ounce of hesitation to take the level 1 of French or Spanish, because your child has to take 2 years of the language, and a language builds upon itself. So if you're building on a weak foundation, your kid's going to be hating life. And it is much better to slow down and even review some concepts and take Spanish 1, and then pick up speed so that you can then go into honors and not exclude the options of taking an AP Spanish or an AP French down the line. So it is specifically for language. You don't want to build on a bad foundation. It just won't be fun.
Thank you for that. So on that question, we are going to conclude it. It looks like everything else has been answered by our panelists. So thank you so much for doing that. Dr. Chaponot, there's a question about ASL if you want to snag that right before we leave. But again, please don't hesitate to reach out. You're going to get a lengthy email from me on Monday. Please sit down with your daughter and read it together and go through it all. I don't mind writing it, but I really hope someone's reading it. So please take the time to go through it. We have recorded this webinar and we are going to have this up on our Incoming Frosh webpage, just in case you want to see us again or watch this video again. And otherwise, again, we look forward to seeing you May 1st for your tech training in person, May 12th for our cheer and dance meeting, if you're interested in that, and June 1st for our sports meeting. And then we might, if you would like to have an intake meeting, we will meet with you in between. So again, many opportunities for us to connect before we leave for the summer. But thanks so much for joining us. It's been a lovely evening with you. And we can't wait to officially welcome you to campus here in August. Talk soon, everybody. Thank you. Have a great night.